Hello, true believers. This is Doc Hogg, and welcome to episode 5 of Comics and Variety. This could be an interesting video if it gets wide viewership, and that is, of course, a big if since this is still a fledgling channel. So please, if you will, do hit the subscribe button, and if you like this, hit the like button. Anyway, it could be interesting to see how many people actually watch the video, and how many react after only seeing the title. So on that note, why do I think Captain Marvel should have been a man? First, some of the best storylines to draw from for a movie come from when Captain Marvel was a man in the comics. Some of the best storylines are in the 1970s and 1980s. There's plenty of good stuff there to draw from. The female Captain Marvel, on the other hand, her comic book has been rebooted 5 times. Count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That should tell you something about the quality of the storylines there. Another reason why I wish Captain Marvel had been a man, that would have meant no Brie Larson. As I pointed out in my last video, her acting was just wooden. It was terrible. And I say that as someone who thought she was pretty good in Kong Skull Island, but for whatever reason, she was awful in this. And a final reason why I wish the movie had, the character had been a man, is that Marvel might have chosen a director or directors other than Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden, two pretty big leftists who no doubt thought feminism should have been the main message of this movie. And there are plenty of female heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, the first one is Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. Now, I'm not sure about this because if you watch movies in which Johansson has had the lead role, it is kind of debatable as to whether or not she can carry a film. That said, she has developed the Black Widow character over a number of movies. Fans seem to like that character, which probably means a standalone Black Widow movie would almost, surely make money. And it is good to hear that a Black Widow movie is in fact in the pipeline. Just too bad it wasn't the first standalone female-led movie in the MCU. Next is Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen. How many of you have seen the movie Wind River? You can view it if you own Netflix, and I think Elizabeth Olsen is pretty good in that. It suggests that she could carry a movie as the lead, and I don't know that Scarlet Witch has been in enough movies to develop the fan following that Black Widow has, but, the MCU is riding high right now. If a crap fest like Captain Marvel can do very well its opening weekend, then a movie with Olsen in the lead should do well too. And finally, instead of Ant-Man and Wasp, how about just the Wasp? My good friend, the great Jeremy Lott, also known as Our Boy Great Lott, made a good point to me the other day that Ant-Man and Wasp was really the first Marvel movie with a female lead. Yes, Evangeline Lilly shared the lead with Paul Rudd, but Lilly was not playing second fiddle to him at all. Evangeline Lilly is my favorite actress in the MCU. A lot of charisma, great range, and yes, she smiles a lot. So a standalone Wasp movie, yes. You really should give it a go, Marvel. Now, a number of folks on Facebook have said that a movie featuring the black female Captain Marvel character would have been a better choice. I don't know that character very well, but others on the sites that I visit swear by her and her storylines. And there are some actresses I would really like to have seen in that role. And hey, the MCU can keep Captain Marvel as a female. She could be a woman of color. Marvel could even make her a lesbian if they are really so hell-bent on checking as many intersectionality boxes. I don't really care. But alas, they won't do that now that Captain Marvel has made a fair amount of money. We'll probably be seeing more of Brie Larson and more of Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden, i.e. more suckage. Ultimately, the point here is that for any female-led superhero movie to work, it has to follow the formula of any superhero movie. It has to have a character that the audience likes. It has to have an interesting story. You do that, and the movie is going to work. How do we know that? Because it's happened before. And on that happy note, let's move to Hogg's headlines. All the news that Doc Hogg wants to report on. Dateline, Clark Gregg is a cuck. Yes, the actor who has played S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Coulson in various movies in the MCU has a message for the small group of toxic fans who have manufactured a backlash against the film. He's called them sad. Here are Agent Coulson's exact words.
I don't know if the expression is butthurt about seeing someone else get a hero that looks like them, but that's because they've always had heroes that look like them.
Agent Coulson is back, and he has a message for the Captain Marvel haters.
There are people who get very bent out of shape about the fact that she's a woman and that Brie's a woman and wants to see women moving into an equal place in humanity to men. Sad. It must be sad to be that kind of dinosaur wandering toward the tar pits.
Those might seem like strong words from everyone's favorite agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they were very necessary in light of recent events.
Now, I'm not going to waste a lot of time discussing Clark Gregg's remarks. Rather, what I want to do here is talk to you a little bit about what to do and what not to do when you are accused of sexism, racism, homophobia, or whatever else. And I think the latter, what not to do, is very important because I see a lot of folks who have been critical of Captain Marvel going on YouTube and responding to the charge of sexism by saying, oh, no, we don't care that she's a woman. Look, we supported Wonder Woman. I mean, there was a female character. We want a Black Widow movie. There's a female character. We're not sexist. When you do that, you are going on the defensive, all right? And the last thing you ever want to do is go on the defensive. The reason for that is that when you go on the defensive, you're kind of proving your accuser's point. It's a matter of methinks thou doth protest too much. That is that you are claiming you're not a sexist, you're trying to prove you're not a sexist, and that you're doing all that because you feel guilty because you are a sexist, all right? Understand that the political left has used this strategy for a very long time. That is, whenever someone criticizes, someone who happens to be a woman or a person of color or whatever, and the criticism is legitimate, it's hitting home, their immediate tactic that they bring out is, oh, you're criticizing them because they're a woman and you don't like women, all right? And, they have used it for a very long time because it has proven effective. It has proven effective at shutting down debate. And I think it proved pretty effective this time around with regard to Captain Marvel, in part because a lot of us a lot of people went on the defensive. Now take it from me, someone who was involved in politics for quite a long time on the conservative side, that what you want to do really is just dismiss the criticism, say it's garbage, and then go back to your original criticism and keep saying the original criticism. Keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it until your message gets through. And it may take a very long time for your message to get through, for your criticisms to really start making the headlines, okay? But it will. Let me give you an example, and it's an example that shows how very effective this left-wing tactic has been. So effective that folks that are on the political right, or at least nominally on the right, have put it into use. And the case of this was when President George W. Bush nominated Harriet Miers to be a Supreme Court justice. I believe, yes, it was to replace Sandra Day O'Connor. And it was clear that Harriet Miers probably wasn't qualified. It was also unclear as to exactly how she was likely to rule on the bench. A lot of conservatives were very afraid that we would get someone like a David Souter, who was nominated by the first President Bush, and you would think that a Republican president would nominate a fairly conservative justice, and David Souter basically was a man of the left almost his entire time on the court. So conservatives didn't want that to happen, and they had legitimate concerns about Harriet Miers. What happens when all this backlash to that nomination began to boil over is that the White House sent out First Lady Laura Bush to basically claim that the criticism was in some way sexist. And having been, hit with this kind of criticism for a very long time, the conservatives for the most part, didn't take the bait. They just dismissed it. They said, you take that back. And they went on to continue with their legitimate criticisms of Harriet Miers. And it worked. Bush withdrew the nomination, and we end up getting Sam Alito, who has turned out to be a very, very good Supreme Court justice. So you don't, again, want to go on the defensive. You want to go on the offense. And I think the other thing you really want to do is when this sexism criticism started to come out, not only dismiss it and restate your main criticisms that you've had, of politics entering this movie. You want to go out and find other things about Brie Larson or other things about the directors to criticize as well. You want to amp it up. All right, you want to amp it up. And the best example I can think of this was when Donald Trump, whatever you may think about Donald Trump, maybe you like him, maybe you don't, okay, but pay close attention to the tactic he used here. Remember a couple of days before the election, a couple of weeks, I think, there was the Billy Bush tape where Trump can be heard saying that he grabs women by the pussy, all right? Should have sunk his campaign, all right? But whatever else you want to say about Trump is that he understands how to win these fights. Did he go on the defensive? Did he go out and say, oh, look at all these women I've hired over my career as an entrepreneur. Look at, all these things I've done for women. No, he didn't go on the offensive. He didn't go on the defensive. He went on the offensive. The very next day, he goes out and holds a press conference with Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, and Kathleen Willey. 3 women who had one way or another been assaulted by Bill Clinton, the husband of the woman who was running for president, Hillary Clinton. All right. And he brought all that up in the very next debate when he was questioned about it, all right, about the Billy Bush incident. He did not go on the defensive. He, took Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's weaknesses and said, look, this is how Bill Clinton has treated women. And look, Hillary Clinton has attacked these women. All right. She has attacked them in public. She's defended Bill Clinton. You think my remark is bad? God, look what they've done. All right. He stuck it to them. Okay. So, again, that is what you want to do. 1, when they criticize you as sexist, racist, etc., dismiss it. 2, go back to your original criticisms. Repeat them, repeat them, repeat them. And 3, up your game. Look for other weak points in the people that you are criticizing and add that to it. All right. So that's what you want to do. Don't go on the defensive. Okay. And next time when Marvel puts out schlock like Captain Marvel, okay, we'll do better. All right. And, that's about it. Thank you for watching. As always, my email is dhog70@gmail if you wish to contact me. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back soon. Thank you.